Hi friends, welcome back to Calm in the Chaos Homeschool. If you're new here, my name is Davine, and today, in lieu of a March update, I'm going to be talking more about planning for the future. So recently I did a video about my 6th grade daughter who will be going into pre-algebra next year, and some math curriculums that I was considering for her. I'm going to be telling you what she decided to go with for pre-algebra and why she chose that program, as well as I'm going to be talking about high school. I'm going to talk about what the requirements that I decided for my homeschool are going to be as far as high school graduation, as I have 2 girls that are getting very close to those high school years. I'm going to talk about some of the things I'm thinking about and like a survey that I did with my kids just today to start planning out those high school credits and what high school credits are going to look like for us. So if you're interested in all that, stick around. Okay, so let's start with pre-algebra and what we did for that. If you haven't seen my comparing like 7 popular homeschool math programs video, I will link it in the description box below. But basically I did research on some popular math programs that I thought might be appropriate for my daughter. So she has been using teaching textbooks. So that was still an option for her, but on top of that, I chose 3 different math programs for her to try out over the last few weeks, basically a week in each program. And I just let her kind of experience the program and see what she might want to use with pre-algebra and hopefully continue on in the future. Okay, so I do have a few notes here, so if you see me looking down, that is why. But the first one that she tried was Nichole, the math lady. Now, initially, she really did enjoy this, I feel. She really liked the Saxon textbook. I only made her do the odd numbers or the even numbers, so 15 questions, not a lot of questions. She did like Nichole, the math lady, explaining the problems. So let me see, what are the pros for her? Yeah, she said that she really liked how Nichole, the math lady, taught the problems, and she said that the problems were quite simple. Of course, these were the first 5 lessons of pre-algebra, so even though she hasn't completed her Math 7 yet, it's going to be simple review questions, so it's not always the best, most accurate view of what it's going to be like, but we're just hoping to get the best possible trial that we could. So next, she did not like how spiral it was. She did not like having review questions. She preferred to stick, she says, to more of a mastery program. And she didn't like the multiple videos. I guess there were maybe 2 videos plus a bonus video. And so she didn't like that. So something she really does not enjoy is a lot of explanation. She wants short, concise explanations. So sometimes videos can get too long for her, and that is something that turns her off from a program. The next math program that she tried was Mr. D Math, and I've heard so many good things about, honestly, all of these. Well, actually, I've heard mostly about Nichole, the math lady, and Mr. D Math so far. So for many years, I've been hearing great reviews about Mr. D Math. So this was something going into this, I thought that this is where we would land. So she liked that the problems were on a printout. Personally, and I think she felt this way too, I felt like the layout on, these are all online programs to some extent, so the layout on the online program was a little confusing. This is a mastery program from what I can tell, so that was a pro for us. She didn't love the worksheets, and she didn't like, it did say to be completing the worksheets while you're watching the video, and she found that confusing and hard to focus on both things at the same time. And one of the cons that I found with just the trial is that they don't have sequential lessons for you to try out. So you don't get access to the first unit where you would have lessons in a row. It kind of skips around. It gives you 1 lesson from this unit, 1 lesson from another unit, 1 lesson from another unit. So she wasn't able to really go through it and see what it was like by learning a few lessons that are sequential. So I think that Mr. D Math was not a top pick at all for her because of just the confusing layout and not being able to try it fully, as well as she likes very simple questions, and I feel like they were a little more complicated than the other programs that she tried out. The last one that I had her try out was the one that I felt like I really enjoyed when I saw the videos. They were very short and concise. I really liked how the teacher explained the problems. So I was hoping that she would pick this one, and that was Thinkwell Homeschool Math. So that would be Math 8, which is their pre-algebra. So they do give you, I think it's 14 days of a trial. So we only did 1 week, but the lessons are sequential. And basically there will be a teacher teaching the lesson, very short videos, 2 to 3 minute videos, which she really, really likes. You have a printout, a worksheet that you print out and you work on, and then you can also, you do the problems on there, on the computer after you've figured out what you're doing. So there's like 9 questions. So maybe altogether 18 questions total. It is mastery based, so it is just focusing on the concepts that you are learning at that time. So she liked that. She liked the short videos. She liked the printouts. So the one con that she said was she didn't really love the way what the layout looked, like the bright colors. She felt like the colors were a bit bright. So that was her con for that program. So at the end of the 3 weeks after trying these 3 programs, I asked her what program she felt like she wanted to use in the upcoming school year. And she surprised me a bit. I felt like she was really leaning towards Nichole the math lady, maybe a little bit towards Thinkwell math, but she actually chose teaching textbooks for a few days. So we went back to teaching textbooks, which was the plan. We were going to finish off Math 7 that we're doing with teaching textbooks. And as we're going through the lessons, the frustration that I've been feeling with teaching textbooks with her started coming up again. There's problems she doesn't know, she doesn't understand. I'm trying to help her, but I haven't seen the lesson. It's hard to go back and find the lesson that taught that. I don't know how they taught it. Even though we have the workbook, it's just, for me, it's a little hard to find how they taught her the concept and explain it to her in the way that she was taught. So I can try to figure out the problem, but we're just struggling with some of the concepts. And so after 2 days of that, she said, actually, Mom, I think I want to do Thinkwell math. So of course, I'm really happy about that. I really feel like it's going to be a great math program for her. I really liked how they explained the concepts, and it seems like it'd be very easy to go back, watch the really short video that's going to explain the concept if she doesn't understand it, and then I will know how to explain it to her better. So I'm really excited about trying out Thinkwell math next year. Yeah, I think it's a great pick for her, and it'll be fun to try something new. So there you go. That's what we picked for math for pre-algebra, and hopefully we can continue with it until she's done all her high school maths. Okay, so those of you who are here for high school specific content. So I have a 6th grader right now who is going into 7th grade, and I'm going to say it's a 7/8 grade year. So essentially, I feel like she's ready to do some beginning high school level courses. You really should be in 8th grade to start that, so we're just gonna call it a 7/8 grade year. I am not really planning on graduating her early from our homeschool, and I'll talk a bit about that more in a bit. And then I have a 7th grader who's going into 8th grade, and she is 14 right now. So she's really going into, let's say, 9th grade. We're gonna get a head start on her 9th grade year, or just get a few high school credits here in her 8th grade year. So we'll see how long everything takes, but that's the plan, to start them both on just a few high school credits in the upcoming school year. So I sat down, I have looked at our Washington State high school requirements, which are not a requirement for homeschoolers in our state. And so you need to check your state, you need to know your state laws, you need to know what you are required to do in your own state. But in our state, it is actually quite open. Homeschooling high school is really up to the parents, how many credits they want their children to complete, what they want their children to complete in order to graduate. It's really, we issue a diploma when we feel like they're ready to graduate, and we create the transcripts and put in the grades that we feel are accurate if our child is going to continue into college or university. So it's very, very open. We are very much able to look at each child and decide what each child is going to need. So in planning my graduation requirements, I looked at our state laws, I looked at the subject requirements, I looked at public school and what they require from kids in order to graduate. I looked at universities and what they are expecting to see from our kids. However, my 7th grader, I expect that she will probably be doing dual enrollment for her last 2 years of high school. And generally, if your child is dual enrolled, they are able to prove to the university that they are ready for university if that's what they choose, if they choose to go on. I'm not sure with either of my kids if they're interested in past college sort of education. My younger daughter, she's very into art, graphic design, baking, things like that. So right now that's where she's interested. So I kind of want to take advantage of homeschooling and let my kids follow their interests, at least until we know a little more specifically if they want to pursue something in the future. And if so, we can add the courses that they need to get in order to get to that point where they want to go. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now. So my older daughter, who is going into 8th and 9th grade, she struggles a lot more academically. I don't feel like she would want to go on to university. I feel like if we could get her into a dual credit situation in college, that would be awesome, but I'm not holding out for that. I would love for her to be able to, we can try to get to that level, and even in Washington, I don't know if I can delay her graduation in order to be able to do the dual enrollment. And when I'm looking at these credits, these don't have to be, like for example, what we're choosing to do next year for a general science and a world geography, we can treat them like a high school level credit, but in the end, if that's going to mess up things with dual enrollment, we don't have to count them as a high school credit. We could just say it's practicing for high school. So things are still pretty flexible. I'm just looking towards the future. I'm looking at what high school might look like and what are the requirements that I might have. I'm going to take you over to my computer to show what I came up with as far as what I will be requiring for high school graduation, as well as a survey I did today with my kids just to help plan out a few of those credits. Let me turn you around and let you see what I'm thinking for high school. Okay, so before I go into the high school requirements page that I created, I want to first talk about this. This is a survey that I did today. If you've been around here, you will know that I am kind of a planner. I really want to be able to plot out the future, even when I know that it's probably not going to go as planned. I just really like to do that planning piece and just kind of have a direction. So what I did today with my kids was I had this thing typed up here and I wanted to get their input as far as what they want to learn in the upcoming years. I did ask all my kids, so my 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th grader, to answer these, but primarily I really want to kind of see what high school credits my older two would like to do in the next 4 or 5 years. So I gave them some history options here. So we have like ancient history, medieval history, and then those two together. Early modern world history, those together. American history, history of science, and then history of the Christian church. That is something that is from Sunlight. And then I went down and I just have a whole bunch of options for science. I figured if kids picked multiple things that would go together, then we could make that into a science credit of some sort. So I put the basics here, the usual ones: biology, chemistry, physics, marine biology, anthropology, astronomy, botany, earth science, ecology and conservation, engineering, geology, meteorology, paleontology, and zoology. I think I forgot one of them, but anyway, so I just wanted to know, I just had my kids number things 1 to 8, things that they were most interested in, so that I could look at the next few years and kind of decide if we can do some things together or if we need to separate in order for my kids to, especially my girls, to get in their top picks as far as history and science. And so after I got the results, yes, some wrenches were thrown into my original plans, but that is how it goes. So at least I know. I was actually surprised my girls wanted to do history of science, and I would never have picked that as something to do with them because I didn't think that that would be something that they'd be interested in. And I figured my boys would be interested in that, but they did say they wanted to do that. So it just helps me plan the next few years and what we might be doing. Okay, so let's go look at my high school requirements. So this is 28 credits, and the public school has 24 credits. I am just trying to push it a bit. I would like to do more if I can. And I'm going to say that we are starting a bit early so that we can get a little more in, as well as I don't know what's going to happen with my currently 6th grader who will be 7th, 8th next year. If she goes and does dual credits, I might be missing this last year with her because it probably would be this year and that year for her to get her AA at a local college. So I'm just trying to get in as much as I can with my kids before they leave the house. So we might not be doing any of these things at the end with her if that goes as planned. And like I said, I'm not sure if we're going to need all these credits. I'm just going to act as if we want these credits. And when I create the transcripts, the final transcripts, I will decide what actually goes onto those transcripts. So that's kind of my explanation as far as why I'm starting so early. And even though I don't really want her to graduate early, she could go to college at 15 if she qualifies, if she tested in. You do have to pay for those credits, but I'm just not sure I want my daughter to be in a setting like that. Even though she's a very mature girl, I don't really want her to be in that setting until she's 16, 17, just when I feel like she'll be more ready for it all. So here we go. We have math, 3 maths. I'm not going to expect 4 maths from my girls, and hopefully this will work for my boys as well. And then I have a personal finance, econ, and civics course that I want to squeeze in here if I can. This might be a course that I do over several years and not just do it all at once. I don't feel like I need to do all of these things within a certain year. I'm going to feel free to spread things out to do over several years for the credits. We have English, so that's just going to be whatever I feel like the girls need at that time as far as English goes. We have social studies. Yeah, I have 4, even though most places would only require 3, and that is my own personal preference. So I'm asking for 4, even though this is sort of one as well. We're just going to squeeze that in on the side. When I require 3 sciences, we have our typical 2 languages. Fine arts, logic is just one I'm putting in. I want to do with my kids. We have health, which is one of the requirements for our state. We have PE, and then we have Bible, which will probably naturally happen over the 4 years, probably a half a credit each year, just based on what we do as a family. And then that will allow for 4 free picks, depending on what my girls want to study. All right, now I'm going to go down and show you what we have for each of my girls so far. So this is my oldest daughter. And so I'm hoping, I don't know if we'll get here, but I'm hoping to get to pre-algebra. I don't know. I don't know if we can skip a year or not, depending on what program we use. So this is kind of wishful thinking at this point. She is not ready to start pre-algebra next year. So this might be moved a little bit. This is kind of what I'm hoping. I'm hoping she can get algebra, geometry, algebra 2, but that might not be possible. So what I would probably change for here at some point is a general math or consumer math or something like that. That's probably more likely. If I can get these 2 in, and a consumer math, we'll probably be doing very well. So then we got 4 years of English. I am not expecting to start that next year. I want to wait until full-on 9th grade. Then as far as social studies, we're continuing with guest hollows, world geography and cultures, as well as book Shark F, which is geography of the Eastern Hemisphere. So we are going to be getting a solid world geography credit for my girls in 8th grade. That will be their first social studies credit. Then based on their survey, we're going to do ancient and medieval history with everybody, but they will get a credit for that. Modern world history. And then they really wanted history of science, and she really wanted American history. So I asked her if maybe she wants to do one of these as an extra elective. So we'll see how that goes, if that's something she's up for when it comes time for that. As far as science goes, we have a general science prepared. I think we're just going to do probably physics, chemistry, and biology, about a third each, just to make it a general science. She really wants to do astronomy, and I asked her today if she wanted to make that a whole year of astronomy or as part of the general science, and she said she'd like to do a whole year of it at this point. So this is all tentative, but that is something she's interested in. Zoology, she said that she would like to do zoology, and so here's where I'm like, okay, these are not very traditional sciences, but like I said, I feel like if we could get an AA at some point for her, that is probably the extent of schooling. So why not make it something that she enjoys? So we have the government and economics here just because I had to squeeze it in somewhere. She's interested in Spanish, so we're going to be doing some Spanish next year just to get a base foundation, and then she can do Spanish 1 and 2. And then I just squeezed history of science down here. We have Bible, and she said she'd probably be doing dance. So dance will work for art. And yeah, we'll see what other elective she wants as the years go on. And I don't have health here, but she will be starting health. Health is one of those things. I have my health planned for my girls, and I'm probably going to spread it out over 4 years, and it'll just be a little tiny bit of health. Well, not, a quarter of the health textbook each year to be done by the end of their high school years. Okay, so down to my currently 6th grader, my 7th, 8th grader next year. She will be doing pre-algebra for 8th grade, and I'm not going to count that as a high school credit because that is not normally a high school credit. So it's just on here, even though it's not really going to be a credit. I assume she will do Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, and then we will do 1 year of personal finance. She does not love math. She is a very logical and analytical thinker, but it's just not her cup of tea. So I'm not going to force more math on her than she needs or wants. English 4, we will just start next year, whatever English we are doing. We have world geography, same thing. These things are all going to be the same. She does not have American history. So that's what I was like, oh, I don't know. Can we do that? Can we not do American history in a high school year when we're in America? I don't know. So if you have homeschooled before, you have graduated high schoolers, let me know if that is okay. She doesn't want to do it, and we've been doing a lot of it this year, and we will continue next year, just not in high school. So let me know if this is okay. Okay, science, general science. We are basically doing chemistry, physics, and she chose engineering as a third of that science. And I asked her if she wanted to do a whole year of engineering, and she said no. So we're just going to squeeze it in with our general science. And then these are the ones she was most interested in: chemistry, planning on doing guest hollows, chemistry in the kitchen. I've been waiting for that, but she won't be ready for that yet. So maybe that. And she chose physics. And I'm just squeezing this in. Like I said, that's actually a 4th, social studies. And I don't think she'll be doing more science. And then she's starting Mandarin next year. So she'll have her Mandarin 1, and then we'll do Mandarin 2 next year after that. And then as far as her fine arts, dance, and she's doing art. And like I said, Bible will probably do over the years, and health. So we'll just have to see what she wants to do for electives. So that is what I have. That's what I planned out. I can link, I don't know if you want this. I can link this page if you want. Definitely you need to look at your own state laws, do your own research, determine what is required in your state, what your child needs in order to complete what they want to in the future. This is just based on kids that probably either don't want to go to university at the time, or probably just won't be doing that. So it's not someone who is prepping for Ivy League or universities specifically. My younger daughter, who's the 6th grader right now, I just feel like if she wants to do something more in university, she'll figure that out in time. And especially since we're starting early and we can change what she needs, she'll have those extra elective spaces to pick up whatever she needs. But I just don't want to be, I know people say plan for it as if they are going to university, but I don't, I just want them to enjoy what they're doing, and I don't want to force them to do more than, well, I'm already forcing them to do electives, but more extras. But I just don't want to be too prescriptive in what they are doing and take advantage of homeschooling and what homeschooling can offer us as far as a little more interest-led learning. So I can link this below if you would like. I can link this as well if you want to give your kids survey or change this a little bit and check with your kids and see what they want to do. I will say it was kind of interesting even seeing what my boys want to do. So it helped me plan for their middle school years and what we might be learning in the middle school years. Of course, I will be giving this more than once. We can always change what we haven't done yet. So I might do this once a year and just see if their interests are in the same places. But it just helps me to be able to look forward a little bit and plan into the future a little bit. So I hope all of that made sense, and I hope that I'm doing it right. You know, I am just starting this. This is my understanding of how it works here in our state. If you are a homeschool mom who has graduated kids, let me know if I'm on the right wavelength as far as homeschooling high school. Of course, I do want to do this right, and I don't want to set my kids up to be unable to do what they want to in the future. It's sort of that balance between interest-led learning as well as preparing for the future. So I'm trying to strike that balance. It's actually really hard for me to let go of what my mind says should be. For example, high school credits or high school science, social studies and things like that. So I'm just trying to kind of let it go a little bit and let my kids be a little more interest-led while I'm super organized and type A and want to kind of make sure everything goes as planned. So if you have homeschooled high schoolers, please let me know if I'm doing things wrong or if you feel like I'm on the right track. I would really appreciate it. And if you haven't started high school yet, what are you thinking about as far as high school? Are you thinking that you'll be this flexible, or are you going to be a little more traditional, or are you going to be more even unschooling as far as high school goes? I know there's so many ways to approach it, and I just feel like if we're trying our best, we will get our kids to where they should be. So thank you so much for coming today, and I hope I made sense, and let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this. So I hope to see you in my next video. Goodbye, everyone.